Good evening, folks. I've been catching up on the people I subscribe to on YouTube today, and one of the people I subscribe to is Julian Eilert, or Julian Elliott. I don't know how you pronounce his surname, but he does similar videos to myself, or I should say I do similar videos to what he does. He's slightly more successful, but anyway, that's another story. But yeah, his latest video was on a radio control clock which he purchased from, I think it was either Lidl or Aldi here in the UK, which is a cheap discount retailer. And yeah, it was a radio control clock, and he talked about it and tore it down, and yeah, just did quite a good review on it. And last night, if you remember, I did a teardown of this, the Magellan Nav GPS 1000M, and I spoke about a problem with this particular model because it wasn't year 2000 compliant, Y2K compliant. That's to say, it suffered from the Millennium bug, as it was known at the time. And weirdly, when I saw that video today, I remembered I had a thing that sort of brought those two, his clock and my GPS, together in a sort of weird coincidence kind of way. And it is this. I'll just get it down. I've just turned it on a short while ago and it's still not picked it up. But this is a radio control clock. But it's not any radio control clock. It is a replica, as it says there, of the Accurist Millennium countdown clock located on the meridian line 0 degrees at the Old Royal Observatory in Greenwich. And as you can see there, if I can get it to focus. Yeah, Greenwich Meridian 2000, year 2000 official timepiece. In case you wonder what these are, I've already taken the screws out just to save time in the video. But yeah, so I purchased this at a car boot sale many years ago, excuse me, for 50p, which seems to be quite a popular price for car boot stuff for me when I go, because all the stuff I got today was pretty much 50p. But yeah, I don't know if this was sold to the general public. I think it was more likely provided to jewellers to put in their watch displays in the the jeweller shop windows, just so that people could walk past and see, all right, that's how long we've got till the Millennium is, because this was both a countdown and sort of regular clock as well. It would actually count down to year 2000, then when it got to 2000 it started counting up. Various settings and stuff at the top. There you go, the countdown was set to the first 2000. And that's the current time. Well, it's not the current time. You can see, or you might be able to see, it's flashing CD, and there's a little antenna icon at the bottom, which is gets a half signal, depending where my hands are. It's quite dependent on the atmospherics. Julian couldn't get it to detect the signal when it was in front of the camera, but when he took it outside it was fine. Really weird. Just interference on cheap products, really. So yeah, I'm sort of rambling on a bit, so I thought we'll just take it apart. Excuse me. So as I say, I've already taken the screws out the bottom and the two at the top here. So this could be powered, or can be powered, using a 4.5 volt DC wall adapter, or two AA batteries. Right, now inside we've got a small PCB with your horrible rubbery carbon type buttons that sometimes takes a little bit of effort to push it, and that's just held in by one screw. This is not going to be a full tear down because I want to put this back together and keep it, because it's probably quite collectible, I suppose. But what we can initially see is a square LCD, obviously proprietary to the clock. And it's white text on a black background, so it's, when compared to normal LCD, it's just that the polarizer's been essentially put on in reverse to give that effect. So it can be quite difficult to read in some lights. Okay, so that's 4 screws securing the LCD in, and I'm just going to, let's say, try and keep this all as much together as I can. So on the back of the board, the clock, we've got a chip on board, which is obviously going to be handling the display and, you know, the actual clock itself. Crystal there just to, you know, keep the time regular. A couple of electric caps, a couple of diodes, and a few surface mount resistors, etc, etc. Onto the so there's a piezo transducer in there, obviously, for the alarm as well. Down at the bottom, we've got our ferrite rod with a coil and a small poly cap on it, and that then goes into this board here, which is the actual receiver itself for the timer. So this receiver obtains via the antenna this clock signal, which is broadcast out, and then across these 4 wires here, that then goes into the clock and is decoded as you know, the timing. And there is a Julian, if you watch his video, I'll probably link to it in the comments of my video, but Julian's video, he finds out basically what the time and signal consists of, and it's various. It's time, date, you know, various things. I think there's about 20 different parts of the data that gets pumped into the clock, and obviously it will only display what it requires. A bit like GPS signal, you can receive a full GPS signal, but you might only want it to display, you know, your speed over the ground or whatever. But he actually hooks up his oscilloscope to it as well, and actually showed you what the signal looked like on the scope display, which was quite interesting. And he just tagged into the bottom, I can't remember what lines he used. Yeah, it was ground, and I think it was D for data he used. It might be slightly different on the one he had. But yeah, that's about it. That's this replica Accurist Millennium countdown clock. I just thought, like I said, it tied in my video and his video quite nicely. Hey guys, if you enjoyed that, please subscribe and give us a thumbs up and all that good stuff, and I shall see you shortly for another video. Cheers now, bye bye.